Ladies and gentlemen, this is Renegade TV, brought to you by our next big event, the Show of Shows. And here is the host of the show, Pete Wall, along with his, co-hosts, Penny Knight, and a fan favorite, none other than UlmarWolf. How's it going?
You're one of my favorites.
Yes, indeed. How's it going, everyone?
It's going great, boss man. How you doing?
Oh, all kinds of good. All kinds of good. UlmarWolf, you there?
I'm here.
The wolf has actually got his ears on. So, what's Renegade TV? Basically, what is going to be going down is we basically review the ongoings of what's been going down in the Wasteland, RWO itself, and in the locker room, as well as we'll have some segments in future episodes, such as the ramblings of a madman. Yes, Griffith Davian will be interviewed by our very own Penny Knight as she is escorted down into the bowels of Steel City to
wait, you're sending me where, boss man?
Down into the bowels, the shithole of Steel City.
Oh, that's gonna cost you extra.
Well, wear rubber boots.
You'll be fine, Paul. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Just treat it like a normal Saturday night.
Alright.
Also, future episodes will be hopefully getting the 1,000 different ways not to go on a date. Brought to you by Judgment, but that is still in the works. We don't have the full rights to that segment as of yet, but you know, we're working on it. Also, we could very well be having tonight, straight from the whorehouse itself, UlmarWolf with Wench of the Week, but we're not sure yet. We'll see how he's feeling. If he's
subject, isn't it?
well, you know, if you're coherent by the end of the night, that is, you know.
Yeah. With no conscience.
Just talk about the one that you stole. That'll be fine.
The one that walked out sucking my cock. Wow.
Oh my goodness, what a night it was. We had a bonfire. You know, we had we had
We
quite...
should have made s'mores. You guys remember s'mores?
We had quite the situation with UlmarWolf and his escape from the Red Lounge.
You're making an exit. You're going to do it right.
Exactly.
You just walked out. I'm not taking her back. She's pretty good. She is taking a week. I have to say.
Oh my goodness, man. Having an alpha dog in the house is always a good thing. He always brings the show to life. So, a lot of things been going on in the Wasteland as of late. We've had a Alpha and Omega #1 contendership tournament. We also had a few exchanges of the now Iron Warrior title and the Scourge of the Wasteland as well. We also got to see a debut as well as of a career-ending match. Very interesting right there, you know.
It certainly fucking was. It's the end of, well, what would we call him, the Patriarch of Oblivion?
Yes, I guess he would be the Patriarch of Oblivion. Not necessarily the leader, but definitely there.
Yeah, he got awful fucking offended when you called him the leader.
Yeah, I had to eat those words a little bit, but you know, the way I view a leader is a man that is giving direction and guidance and training, and to me, you know, that kind of falls into the category. You know, if you're the Patriarch, you're the leader.
Yeah, I'd rock with that. Being an alpha myself, you know, giving words of, well, I wouldn't say wisdom, but telling them how the fuck it is, you know.
Now, we also had a match that kind of hits really close to home for one UlmarWolf, and that was J.D. Bagwell against his son, Giroff, the future alpha dog, you might say, or alpha wolf.
Yeah, that little cunt let me down.
Yes.
But I have to say, I'm going to say this.
Yeah, because Geralt never lets me down.
We never let any women down. But what I'm going to say is, I watched back the tape of that fucking match, and I swear those golden fucking dynasty bastards paid off that ref.
Well,
I'm seeing that man get knocked out by a kick to the leg, and I sure as hell saw JD Bagwell get choked the fuck out.
You know, I had to review that after you brought that up to my attention as well. And, you know, in the referee's defense, you know, that stomp that Gurov took to his leg, it looked very, very close to being right directly over the femoral artery. So maybe the referee maybe thought, you know, Gurov had, you know, maybe had a blood clot form or something from the stomp. I don't know. You know, I'm not one to make excuses, but...
Forgive me for asking stupid questions. I'm just a dame. But do you pay the referees to think, boss man?
Not ever.
They give him food. What else do we need?
We give them a little bit to snack on, a whole lot to drink, and send them out there and say, do your fucking job.
I'm saying now, that Golden Dynasty bastard, I'm sure they paid that fucker off with a little extra food, a little extra drink or something.
I wouldn't put it past them. We've seen in recent days what they're capable of doing, and those guys are pretty fucking conniving. But let's
we can link out of the whole of Golden Dynasty, you know. I've seen him be eliminated several times.
Yes.
Got picked in that tag team tournament. He let me down there as well.
Well, maybe he'd spend more time in the gym and less time inside his sister. I mean,
oh,
that's what I heard.
Mercy.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Took my line right out of my throat. Damn.
Oh, sorry, man. Wow.
But let's put a little bit of back history with this match between JD Bagwell and Gurov. Now, Gurov has made it very well known. He detests everything about JD Bagwell and his family. And that has been continuously brought up when verbally attacked. Now, J.D. Bagwell went as far as, slinging some of his own mud. But it was in the end decided that you two would be facing each other off. And if Gurov could get past J.D. Bagwell, then the Pack would be able to face the Gold Dynasty at our next show of shows and see if they could wrestle those belts away from the Gold Dynasty.
Yeah, well, you know how that fucking went.
Well, definitely the poodle here in the story, the fucking dropped the ball. Now, hook by crook, you know, a win is a win. But J.D. Bagwell, he, you know, if he paid off the ref, if he maybe cheated in a way, he still did prove everything that Gurov said about him as, well, presumably wrong.
Yeah,
well, I don't know if I think J.D. Bagwell's smart enough to cheat, boss.
Well, you know, it's not for me to say. I used to run with his pappy, you know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as Gurov's pointed out several times, his dad was never the sharpest tool in the shed either.
Well, yeah, we all know the infamous Bagwell lineage there.
Well, see, you know, if you recall history correctly, after Bagwell, Jake Bagwell, the senior of this story, broke away from Eternity, his career did take quite a big turnaround. He did capture some singles action gold. He rose in the rankings. It looked good. Failed to capture the big title as always, but he did look better standing alone than with the big group that is known as Eternity, or was known as Eternity.
Maybe father like son, you see. Maybe the apple don't fall too far from the tree, and once J.D. Bagwell gets away from his Golden Dynasty, maybe he'll pick up a little bit of fortune on his own.
Maybe. But as I see it right now, J.D. Bagwell could be the weaker for it if he were to break away too soon.
This is true.
Because, you know, frankly, he looked good in the tournament that was recently held. He looked good in Fatal 4-Way competition. But when it comes to singles action, you know, both of us could say he got a bit lucky against Gurov.
Well, I was watching back, and yeah, he got the first pin. No doubt about it. He got the first pin there. Gurov came back, hit him with a spear after choking him out. It was a choke out first. Spear
memories.
Cut him in half, got the pin, and then all looked like it was golden. That looked like it should have been the end right there, but the referee didn't ring that fucking bell. All credit back Bagwell, he came back. He did come back. And like I said, the dodgy knockout. So all credit, yeah. Bagwell did look pretty good when he did come back. But I don't think he looked good enough to be a solo competitor just yet.
No.
Well, not only that, but God knows we don't need him talking on his own. The boy can't string two words together.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit later because we got a little bit more action going down, and this is the match I want to really talk about because this came by way of an attack, not in the wrestling ring area or in the locker room. This happened in the Wasteland. Drago Doom, along with Mean Joey Green, have formed a union known as the Angry Assholes.
I didn't know they got married.
I said formed a union, did not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
No. We won't go that far. But you never know. This is wrestling.
It'd be the first time anyone did go that far with Joey.
No kidding. Now, in order, like Drago Doom, he had a big match at the last pay-per-view, fell short. Same with Mean Joey Green. Actually, he fell at, he kneeled before me like a bitch. But both of them...
He's still pasting his nuts up in his throat, I'm sure.
Exactly. But both of them feeling very slighted and very angry, to use that word as a pun, joined forces and went and attacked the Dogs of War champions inside the Red Lounge. Now, we all know the owner to that lounge is none other than Cassie Madam Red. And after pummeling the hell out of the champions, they stole their belts and then they would go forward and burn down the Red Lounge. Now, this caused a big uproar in the community. We all seen it.
Oh, yes.
Sadly.
I saw it firsthand as I was walking out.
This is the escape we were talking about earlier. Inverted that bitch into the 69 position and out the door Ulmar ran.
I paid good money to have my nose sucked like that. So I was leaving. I was having my job finished and I was leaving.
Exactly. Now, as
she's settling in.
Well, she's still tied and gagged in the back of my truck at the moment.
Well, isn't that all the bitches should be, tied and gagged in the back of the truck?
It sounds a good way to me.
Yeah.
That's complicated.
Now, there was some good points to this. There's a whole lot of detractors, though. Now, when I talk about detractors, I'm talking about my personal detractions from what I witnessed. And being a man of the Wasteland, the hell I would have lifted my hand and offered my services to someone in the Wasteland when they're being either tortured, burned the fuck down, or what have you. I'm not gonna...
No, it don't affect me. It don't mean shit. I'm not worried. I'm walking straight on.
But, amongst all this rage from the Angry Assholes, everybody flocked to Cassie Madam Red. And it shocked me in a way because I'm looking at the personalities of RWO. And it's like, okay, you wouldn't lift your head for it. You wouldn't lift your head. You wouldn't lift your head. Why the fuck are you coddling her? Let it burn, bitches!
Exactly. Get the fucking marshmallows out. Let's have a fucking party. These fuckers were stood there singing Kumbaya, fucking offering Cassie a fucking hand. What the hell is going on? Would she turn fucking around and give you a hand if this was going down to your place? Oblivion wouldn't lift a fucking finger. So why the hell are you all there singing Kumbaya first?
Well,
they're all secretly night walkers.
Now, in my opinion, the bigger statement was made, against Oblivion as a whole. Because, yes, Cassie Madam Red is linked directly to the Nightwalker family. And the Angry Assholes didn't just go out of their way to disgrace the Dogs of War champions. No, they put a direct hit on Oblivion and let them know that they were coming. Ain't no safe place in the Wasteland.
No, there is not. Choose your friends wisely. Make sure they're gonna watch your back, but still watch your fucking back all the same, because you never know when someone's gonna fucking turn.
Exactly. Now, we witnessed something happen after all this meltdown occurred, and It was the reappearance of the legendary Mordred Nightwalker from, well, what, 30 fucking years ago? You know, it's been like fucking 15 years since anyone's seen the guy. And all of a sudden he appears and he wants to stand up and basically bitch slap all these soft bitches of the wasteland around. And he directly aimed a lot of this towards Oblivion in itself. So I felt, what better way than to make him compete in a match, but first he wanted revenge on Drago Doom. And the Iron Warrior title was on the line. This is the match that defined that title, I believe, in my eyes, because until now it's been known as the Warrior Way Championship title. And this match changed it completely because of what went down. Mordred Nightwalker versus Drago Doom. 20 minutes trapped inside a Hell in a Cell. No escape. And the only job you have is to, well, survive.
What a fucking match it was as well.
Now,
I really expected old man Nightwalker to break a hip out there.
Well, I thought the fucker was dead, to be honest. Nobody heard from him for so long, and then all of a sudden up he pops.
You know, and which shocked me because, yes, rumors were, you know, old man Nightwalker was dead. And when he appeared, I figured, you know, a walker, a cane, a fucking, you know, a fucking mobile scooter or something, you know, something to get this fucking guy around. But he showed up. He was in fit form, which was shocking. A little bit white in the hair, but he took the fight to Drago Doom in a big way. And there for a while, I was starting to think Drago Doom, you know, had more hype behind him than anything else.
Well, yeah, Paul came out swinging hard right from the get-go, you know. You could see the guy was fucking fired up from the moment the bell rang. And Drago Doom's power and size did come into it a little bit. Yeah, I did honestly think the guy was going to break more than half the points.
Well, I mean, he might have done, and Mordred ain't out of the hospital yet.
Well, it came down to where Drago Doom was looking to tie up the match, and he hit that vicious Dominator-like maneuver, and the time ran out when he went to go for the cover. But that Dominator in itself is what ended the career of Mordred Nightwalker. Like, talk about a fierce battle between two warriors. Drago Doom went out and he said he wasn't here to win the match. He wasn't here to win the gold. He was here to end Mordred Nightwalker's career for good. And he did just that.
Fucking delivered that.
You know,
he sent a message out there to the entire fucking roster.
Exactly. You know, it don't matter how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Your careers are in the hands of Drago Doom. And, you know, that message was received very, very precisely by one Mordred Nightwalker. Now, Mordred still walked out the champion. Or I should say, he was carried out as champion.
For all the fucking good it did him.
Yeah. But, after news from medical that Mordred Nightwalker was not capable of defending or even wrestling anymore, then the title became vacated, and that led into a match down the road with two guys I thought needed the attention brought out. They actually stepped up in the locker room and let me know that, hey, we're here, we want to fight, and that's what I like seeing. You know?
Yeah, but well, these two guys stepped up and they put on a fucking battle as well, you know? It wasn't just a one-sided fight. They came out swinging.
Yeah, now, we're talking about Torment O'Connolly and Tyler Graft. And this is the night where it was christened the Iron Warrior title. Now, the belt is still in production, but you will be seeing it soon on RWO television. Torment O'Connolly, the son of the Demented One, simply known as Demented, and the daughter of the ugliest and vilest of creatures known as Sensuasa.
Whoa. Isn't that your daughter?
Fuck you, man. I did not. Well, yeah, no, I did have sexual relations with that Yeti.
I'll use that line.
I refuse to acknowledge such a beast of the wall lineage, and I'm ugly to boot.
Discard the ones that aren't worthy. Just give it throw them out there. Let someone else pick them up.
You know,
I mean, that seems to be working out for you so far.
Yeti was lucky I acknowledged him, you know? But yes, Torment O'Connelly versus the man that swears he's going to clean up the wasteland, bring us back to prosperous times. The White Paladin. Yes, Tyler Graff. Now, this is what I don't understand. What is so wrong with the wasteland?
I've got no issue with the wasteland. I get to fuck when I want. I get to eat where I want. I get to beat the shit out of something.
You know,
it's pretty good.
You take a little bit of a stroll back into your memories when you were a child. What did you like to do? You like to go and sit down in the sand and, you know, make little racetracks for your cars, build castles. What's so wrong with a dirty, sandy fucking planet?
Sounds pretty good to me.
You know? You want to go take
for yourself. I'm from the city. We don't got none of that shit.
You want to go take a piss? It's just, you know, right there in the dunes, you know, you just let it go.
That's it. Unzip, let it out, and away we go. Well, maybe not in Neon City, you know, you get fucking arrested there if you take a piss anyway, right?
Exactly. You know, and yeah, sure, we got some mutants running around, some guys that have become immortal because of all the toxic waste, and, you know, we got some vampires, some werewolves, but you know what? It makes it more interesting. Fuck old Earth.
I'm not allowed in Neon City really anymore. You unzip one time in front of a public school, and automatically you get booted out.
You know, you go and...
Yeah, they're a little hard up about that. Adam Garrett's got some weird ideas about what is and isn't acceptable.
Well, you know, and you go and fuck one Garen, you know, mother, and you're, you know, cast away and banned for forever, you know? It's like...
That news wasn't public.
Oh.
That was swept under the rug.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. It was pretty good. But,
you know, I seen his mother, you know. Fetu Garen's mother is pretty fucking hot. You know, I can't blame you. MILF is a MILF. But...
Fucking orange for a fucking hose pipe, that one.
But we've digressed for too long. Torment O'Connelly and Tyler Graft. And these guys lived up to what the Iron Warrior title is supposed to be about. You know, they took the fight to each other. It was a battle from the beginning of the match all the way to the end. But Tyler Graft decimated Torment O'Connelly.
See, I think he let up a bit too much in that fight. He struck a good lead. He got out to like 4-0 ahead. He thought he had it won. I think he slowed up a little too much, thinking he was going to breeze through the rest of the match.
I believe so too. He had the early advantage. He took the match and the fight to Torment O'Connelly. And yeah, it takes a lot of endurance in an Iron Man type setting. But, you know, letting up is the biggest thing that you don't want to do.
Oh, no, not in the wasteland. No.
Torment started showing...
Yeah.
Torment started showing signs of life, started making that comeback, but it was far too late in the match to have it happen to begin with. So, currently, Tyler Graft is our Iron Warrior champion, has yet to be challenged by any scum, soft, motherfucking bitches out in the wasteland. Why? Because now there is something at stake. They seen Mordrin Nightwalker. Well, his career was ended, so now everyone's skittish, and I don't understand it.
I've got a boy I could throw in there any fucking second. You name it, he'll fucking come knocking for it.
Well, I have yet to see them boys step up, Mr. UlmarWolf.
Well, maybe
How many more you haven't seen yet?
Their numbers 1 to fucking 50, but...
Now...
UlmarWolf of Asia.
Now, like I was stating, you know, no one stepped up, no one's challenged the new Iron Warrior champion, which is sad to see. And you know, this is a big opportunity, in my eyes, for a lot of these guys that aren't getting some of the attention because they do hold back. It is their opportunity to grasp the reins of their career and turn things around. and everyone goes silent. No one is willing to step up and take the challenge on.
Wow.
Well, and a fine example of that, and we're going to go back to a previous match. Look at what happened to Mordred Nightwalker. Look what happened to Cassie Madam Red's Lounge. And Oblivion has become...
Oblivion have become mutes.
Yeah, they become mice amongst the wasteland. You don't hear them. What's going on?
They've all tailed and run home. They've all fucking gone back to the nest. Nobody's fucking heard a word.
Now I mean,
the only thing we have heard of these twins, these cocky little bitches. My boys met them, my daughters met them. I can't wait for my daughter to get my hands on them in the upcoming show.
Yes.
I was going to say, your girls don't seem to be big fans of those twins.
Well, no, neither's my boy Geralt. He got the nutcracker done to him.
Hey,
I know that ruined my plans that night.
In all honesty, I'm a big fan of Laika and Rika's twins as well. Okay, I'm just putting that out there.
Laika seems to be putting on some more weight. What are you feeding her out there?
It's good to see. It looks like UlmarWolf is distilling some of his wisdom upon her and forcing her to eat and get healthy. She looked very malnourished before, and she's turning around. I want to spank that ass. I mean,
yeah, well, what I heard said was Drake Garrett.
Well, that little fuck. I don't think he knows what to do with his cock.
So I'm going to put this out there now before all the people watching, all those of you that are sitting in a locker room waiting for your opportunity. You have your opportunity right here before you. All you got to do, step up in the locker room. Give me a reason. Give everybody in that locker room a reason why they should fear you. Why you should be chosen above everybody else to face Tyler Graft for the Iron Warrior title. Because I can guarantee you become the Iron Warrior title, your career might be just taking a step in the right direction. As long as you make sure that you are being seen. Because if you're not seen, you're not heard. And if you're not heard, well, frankly, your career could end up, well, right where Mordred Nightwalker's is.
Ooh, that's cold.
Too soon?
No.
I know that not everybody in the locker room has the gift of gab like his truly. But for God's sake, you gotta talk.
Exactly. And fine examples of that is, well, he's sitting here with me right now, Mr. UlmarWolf. We also have the likes of none other than Minerva.
Mr. UlmarWolf is fantastic with that mouth of his.
Laika, as well as Giroff, as well as Rika, they are always known, they're always seen, they're always heard. They might not get everything they want, which we'll talk about later on when it comes to this next big pay-per-view known as the Show of Shows. But that's for later. Up next, though, we're going to be discussing the Scourge of the Wasteland Championship match between the champion Yolanda Bendamiova and Rebel Outlaw. First, your opinions on Yolanda Bendamiova.
That bitch is crazy.
I wouldn't bend over. I wouldn't bend that over for all the money in the fucking world, and there's not a lot of it allowed.
If the seasons became really dry in the wasteland and there was no hookers, no blow, I'd have to face reality. I guess Yolanda would have to do. But
you really pick Yolanda over your own hand, boss?
Oh, well, you brought my hands into the conversation now, then okay, fine. No, absolutely fucking not. Well, I was...
A bit of spitting palm will always beat Yolanda.
Hey,
I'm sorry, but
the sands of the wasteland keep these hands really fucking soft.
That could be interesting.
Now, you're all probably wondering what I'm drinking here. This is brought to you by none other than Milk Carton Mark. Cheers, bro. But yes, we're gonna move back into this match. Yolanda walking into this fight as the champion, a very opinionated, dirty, greasy, How far
Can
do
I just tell you that you guys are so fucking lucky that you don't have to walk into the ladies' room after she's been in there?
Yeah, no, we're going to take your word for it and let you women enjoy her essence of woman.
Yeah,
It's,
there we go.
It's a fucking experience, and one that I don't care to repeat anytime soon.
But you can taste it when you walk in there, can't you?
Ugh.
You can taste it.
I think I stood up in the back of my mouth a little bit.
Ooh, yeah.
Normally got something else in the back of your mouth, so that's a change.
Damn! Damn!
You were complaining earlier today, damn.
Tickle them tonsils. Woo! Now, a strong fight from the champion here. She really went in hard. She tried. Oh, wow. Jeez, that can. Wow. See what you guys have done? She went in hard. But.
It's better than going in soft.
There we go.
If I'm in, it'll get big when it's inside. Don't worry about it.
A very back and forth battle here between Rebel and Yolanda. It was, very hard to choose which woman was going to win in the end, and I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Rebel Outlaw take the title belt away from Yolanda. We all know Rebel Outlaw, the daughter of one Matt Outlaw, so it was good to see that his daughter went through and won the match. She's tagged up with Andromeda recently, and I think that maybe has helped her a little bit in the ring.
Definitely, I think she's definitely taken on board some of that Amazon fighting style.
Take one look at her. She's one tough-looking bitch to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. She was already tough, but now she's taken on some of this Amazon training. I think she's now going to step up her game, and maybe we'll see her go on a bit further. Challenging for some of these Empresses, maybe.
I want to see it. I definitely want to see it, because Rebel has the look. She has the fighting style. She's got everything going for her. Now,
I want to see from her, though, is to open that mouth a bit more. Get some fucking words out.
Well, I was going to say...
I'm not entirely sure she's got it all on the upstairs, you guys.
I was going to say she should open that mouth of hers a little bit more, just so I can fit something extra in. But, that's me.
Well,
she's not going to talk. You might as well use that mouth for something, boss.
But, ladies and gentlemen, your new Scourge of the Wasteland, none other than Rebel Outlaw. And, like I said, Amazons, you want a shot at her, you got to open your mouth. You got to give me a reason why to choose you. And no, I'm not going to be picking you if you throw down a one-liner or 2 words. That's not the way it works. You got to show some passion. You got to give me a reason why you should be chosen above all the rest. That is what these titles here are for. The Scourge of the Wasteland title and that Iron Warrior title, they are meant to help you step out of your comfort zones and bring the fight and show us, hey, we're here. We're taking it.
You can't fucking talk, man. There's no way you're going to get in that ring and fucking do the business enough to prove you deserve that title. Come on.
Exactly.
Why are you going to get thrown in there if you just give it, I'd like a shot at that title. I think I could win it. Shut the fuck up and get in there. Tell us how you're going to beat that bitch. Tell us you're going to beat her like she owes you some fucking money. She stole your best friend's boyfriend or what? Just fucking get in there.
She tickled your gooch while you were sleeping. God damn it, any reason. Any reason.
That sounds pretty fun.
Pete, you told me that you weren't going to tell nobody about that.
Well, I get excited sometimes, I forget.
Careful, you'll faint again.
No, I ain't seen that crazy bitch Minerva around here nowhere. She's the one that makes me faint.
Thank goodness. I don't need another premature fainting spell, Just, it's all kinds of wrong.
I don't understand it.
Anyway, up next, we had a debut match. 2 debuting superstars, both not very much is known about. One known as Turok, the other Pogo the Clown. And I've got to be honest, when I seen Pogo the Clown, I was hyped, man. This guy's got a sadistic look about him. Look at his fucking face paint. He looks nothing like a fucking clown. And every bit the psychopath.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. That little fucker, well, I wouldn't want to meet him in a fucking dark alley, that's for sure. You might want to try and tickle my balls or something.
It gives me the creeps. We don't have clowns in Neon City. They're outlawed.
Oh,
you do. They sit on the fucking throne.
God damn.
Ah, my goodness. Now, a very competitive match it was, in my eyes. A lot of back and forth. What I did like seeing, though, from Pogo the Clown, you look at the roster, you look at everyone's movesets, you look at how they're wrestling in that ring, their skill abilities, and a lot of them come off looking like they are clones of each other. You know, everyone wants to be that striker, and they all end up using and utilizing the same maneuvers. But Pogo brought something a little bit different to the ring, which I like seeing. You know, it wasn't necessarily power-based. It wasn't necessarily, technical. This kid was
an unorthodox fighting style with his clown.
Yes, that was the word I was looking for. You know, very in depth and very fast with what he was using in the ring, and maneuvers that I haven't seen utilized in RWO before, and I love seeing that. And for that reason alone, I thought this kid had Turok's ticket. You know, and if you looked at the match close enough, it was very hard to pick which one would come out the winning man to begin with.
It definitely swung both ways,
yeah.
You know, from the start.
Well, we all know you like to swing both ways, Ulmar, but don't bring it into this match.
One time. And now it's just a thing.
But yes.
It's not my fault.
Forget about it.
Those diaries of Jerry Green, they're going to get me fucking killed.
Oh, they will, they will. And it's floating all over the wasteland now. You know that, right?
That's not the only thing floating all over the wasteland.
But yes, Turok would walk away with the victory here. Looked very strong. Both of these guys did. I can't wait to see more from both of them. But I'm leaning more towards Pogo the Clown. I want to see a lot more from this kid. He was off the fucking rails, and I love that in a wrestler.
I want to hear what Pogo the Clown is going to say.
Well, we're going to bring
up the grabs. I want to hear him say something. I want to see if that clown's got a voice.
Exactly. You know, and his name's been brought up a lot in, the last few hours, so we're going to discuss that a little bit more later on. Now, we went and had... Oh, let's see. What do we got here? We had a show we got to discuss. But I also got to lean towards Penny and whisper in her ear a little bit and ask her when she wants me to sit in the hot seat. Is that anytime sooner, or are we waiting a little bit later for it?
You can sit wherever you want, whenever you want, boss.
Well, while you sit in that hot seat, I'm going to go unzip, take a splash.
Well, there you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to exclude Ulmar for a little bit. I'm going to sit down in the hot seat, which is directly on the lap of Penny Knight. She said anywhere, anytime.
I guess we can switch it up. I mean, usually I'm on your lap, but it's whatever.
Well, you know, I like to be babied sometimes too, you know.
I know. Believe me, I know.
No diapers and shit. No, we won't bring that into it. No.
This job's going to put me into an early grave.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the hot seat with none other than Penny Knight.
How you doing, boss man?
I am doing good. Now, how do you want me? You want me relaxed? You want me Pete Wall, the promoter, Pete Wall, the creator, or Pete Wall, just the natural guy that sits before you every night?
I will take whatever I can get.
Ooh, have mercy. Okay, well, that answered the question right there. Let's go.
All right, boss man. Why the hell did you agree to come back to this job? It damn near killed you last time.
Why'd you have your mouth open? It would have gone in your mouth if you weren't stepped out of that fucking tree, for fuck's sake. Sorry, guys, I'm back.
Excuse me, I'm trying to do my job here. I take my job here.
Oh, God damn it. Oh.
Now you've killed my boss.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
going to have to go find another fucking job.
No, it's just gas.
Minerva.
Okay.
Where are you?
Okay, so why did I come back? Well, you know, when it comes to the Wasteland, I love the fucking place. I truly do. You know, you look at everything that's gone down in RWO history, and even before the Great Fall, went down in Big Dog Wrestling, it is a testament to what people can do when they try and work together. And when I stepped away and the wars began again, and all the battles that I had to witness, deaths, look at Mordecai, look at Sin, crucified outside the city walls, and their bodies still hang there in Neon City and in what is now called New Naples. It was time to come back. It was time to stop the wars, bring the fights back into RWO, and let the Wasteland be at peace once again. If it truly is at peace.
It remains to be seen, boss.
Well, from what we've just seen from the angry assholes, I would say, ain't happening.
No.
Alright. So who's surprised you in RWO? Who's doing the best work here? Besides me, of course.
Well, I always love
You're
my
doing
assistant.
work?
My assistant does.
Work.
You know, I have to agree with Ulmar. You know, I got to kick a wench underneath the desk every now and then, hide him from Penny. But, you know, it is a lot of work. But what was the question again?
Who's doing the best work here in RWO? Who are you the most impressed with?
There's a few, actually. I'm always impressed by people that step up and step out of their comfort zones. You look at what the angry assholes have just done. You look at everything that UlmarWolf and his pack have done as a whole. I'm talking about Laika, Girov, even UlmarWolf, and he isn't even a wrestler anymore. He's just there to guide his children. You know, Phoenix Nightwalker, impressive. And when the guy talks, people actually sit and listen. So I like seeing that. I like to see more of it. You know, as for a favorite, I don't know if I truly have a favorite. I look at what the Gold Dynasty's doing, and, you know, besides that little bit of a spoof they pulled on the Bastard and their gang, very funny shit, but I need more from them. You know,
even your bastard child?
What was that?
Even your bastard child,
Fuck Ulrich, okay? We're not talking about Ulrich right now. No. That kid doesn't deserve my attention. Refuses to accept the wall name, he can go fuck himself. No, he can hang with those bitches there in Gold Dynasty. I don't care if they're family. But yeah, like I said, a lot of favorites out there. And when I see people step up and start taking control of their career, like me, I am the guy that sits before them and says, okay, this is what's going on. Here's your direction. Take us for a ride. You know? And those people that do it, those are my favorites. You know, and there isn't many. You know, I've named a few, and there is more. You know, Fetu and Drake Guerin finally stepping up and trying to gain himself a little bit of a niche here in the Wasteland. I like seeing that, so he's being rewarded. He gets to take on the Empress, Ragnar Warsun, at the Show of Shows. You know, they show me something, I reward.
Aw, that's fair enough.
Like I said to you, you never knew where they were, but hey, that's another story.
We'll get to that when I do my interview with you.
Oh, shit. I never signed up for that.
I wasn't asking, I was telling. Who are you the most disappointed in so far?
The most disappointed in? You know, when it comes to disappointment, there's many levels when it comes to me. I am disappointed, and then I am completely dismayed, and then I am frustrated beyond belief. Disappointed. Disappointed would have to be in tag champions that just got their asses whooped by two giant motherfuckers. And no retaliation. I'm talking about the Dogs of War champions. They had their titles ripped from their bodies as they lay in a burning building. You know, speaking of disappointment, I've got to bring up Oblivion. They are a pack mentality like crew. No slight to you there, UlmarWolf.
No slight.
But it's, I'm using it as
that.
an analogy, you know. Just calm down there, mister. But Mordred Nightwalker, career-ending travesty, and everybody goes into hiding. You know, like I said, there's so many different levels. You look at Andromeda; she's being trained by none other than Wrestling Mama, one of the strongest women to ever enter RWO, and she's a mouse. You know, so this is the hot seat. I'm going to be completely honest with what I see. JD Bagwell. JD Bagwell pissed me off beyond belief, and this kid is trying. I will not discredit for anything he has done. He is out there trying. He is carrying the load for the Gold Dynasty. Everybody's seen it.
Takes a load, all right.
Yes. But he is trying.
What is the question?
He is trying, and that's what I appreciate. But when I seen him extend his hand and his reserves to one Cassie Madam Red, it disappointed me. Because the Gold Dynasty is so much more than that. You know, and I might not get along with those boys, but when I see them as a collective and what they've done in that ring, they are above all these little people out there. Forget the whorehouses. You've got whores of your own. You don't need to worry about the Red Lounge. You know? That is,
there's plenty of whorehouses out there. I can give you a guide. I can give you a map of the best ones, boys.
You would know better than anyone.
No, I certainly fucking would.
I'm hoping I'm answering these as good as you would expect me to.
Boss man, have I ever complained about anything you gave me?
Well,
you
complained that one night when my foot got a little bit friendly with you, but you know that wasn't my fault.
I know. We talked about your condition. I understand.
That rich toe of his. Many a man's fallen to that.
Oh yeah.
Just ask Jim.
Many a man have wanted to put a ring around that big toe.
Whether they liked it or not, that's another story.
Moving on.
Do you regret hiring any of these douchebags you got around here?
Regret. You know, for the most part,
you don't have a job here. You just show up.
For the most part, I think we've got one of the most well-rounded crews out there. There are some talents I'd like to see brought in when we have the opportunity, when we have the space. But all in all, we have got a pretty damn good roster of men and women here in RWO. And as for regrets, well, those regrets have been dealt with. And am I proud that they had to be dealt with? No. I would like it if everybody could participate in RWO. But I also realize that there are some characters that don't mesh well with others, and therefore causes untold drama, as well as drama that nobody needs. So regretfully, I've had to make firings in the past, but you know, moving forward, we'll see what becomes of the RWO roster.
Fair enough. Now, moving on to politics, just a little bit.
Ooh, politics. I'm not a fan.
Is this politics in the wasteland?
So I've been led to believe. The Garens won't shut up about it.
Yeah, but the Garens have got a lot to say, but don't actually do much with it.
Well, you know, as a resident of Neon City, I'm just going to avoid that subject and move along.
They make a lot of rules, useless rules, that aren't needed in the wasteland. Let people fuck on the streets, you know?
There are a lot of rules in Neon City.
If a man lays bleeding...
Have I ever broken one? No, of course not. Why would you imply such a thing?
If a man lays bleeding with a knife in his belly on the sidewalk, walk by, stomp on the knife a little bit, and carry on. You know?
No. You pull the knife out, clean it up, put it in your pocket, leave it for later. Leave the man there.
Well,
you never know when you're going to need a knife.
I just wanted to help the guy on his way, you know. I was showing some kind of soul here, you know.
Well, you check his pockets to make sure he hasn't got any loose change either, you know. You never know when the next comes up.
Words of wisdom to live by here in the wasteland by UlmarWolf.
Pull the knife, wipe it off, put it in your pocket. You never know when you're going to need that fucker later to stab someone.
Take his
Check
boots.
his pockets, take his money, and make sure he hasn't got any good stuff in his bag. If he has, take that shit. You're going to need it later.
There you go. You know, we should have a segment called Life Tips in the Wasteland featuring UlmarWolf.
I like that. I like a lot. I like a lot of the tips that he's got, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Which ruler do you think is doing the best job?
Neither. Straight up, I say neither.
Well, shit.
If I were to rule over a third of the planet, now I don't give a shit if it's been destroyed and filled with toxic waste and you know, skulls of human remains laying all over the place. I wouldn't care. If I ruled over people, I would make sure everybody knew who I was, and don't fucking cross me, because I will fucking crucify your ass. And yet, what do we hear from the rulers as well as the emperors or the empresses to bring that up?
Sweet fuck. Oh, my boy's putting out that bastard for ages. He's too busy hiding behind his father's nutsack, though.
They have not only the
You have to know who
highest...
his father was to hide behind his nutsack.
They not only have the highest title they can have in RWO, but they rule over their areas of the wasteland, and we have nothing. We don't even get a crowning, a fucking a party. We don't get a fucking invitation to any, you know, this is the way things work now. You know, we don't get none of that. We get them sitting in their ivory towers, watching from the safety of their thrones, masturbating to some fucking cartoon porn, and you know. And my only question is, where the fuck did they find that cartoon porn? Because I would like a copy. But other than that, absolutely nothing. You know, we get the Prince of Neon City stepping up to challenge the Emperor of the Wasteland, but his older brother, who is the ruler of the Wasteland, is too busy wondering if Mummy's got milk still in that big overflowing.
I can answer that one for you. She does.
See, there you go. I was emphasizing with my hands here, and I realized you guys couldn't see what I was doing.
I think you lost the plot for just a minute there, Boss Man.
You got distracted by the boobs.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes.
Can't blame you. Very magnificent pair of boobs
mighty
on his
fine
mum.
boobs. No discrediting what you got going on, Penny. Okay.
I motivated them. I was all up in there.
You know, that's the only thing I'm going to be able to think about next time I see her.
Oh.
God damn it.
It's the only thing I think about while I'm masturbating. I mean, thinking about her as well. Do we have any more questions?
I got lots more questions.
Okay, shoot them.
Shit.
If you were going to bang one of the women on the roster, who would it be? And why?
Oh, geez. You know, I couldn't even bring myself to it because every time I see her and hear her, I start fainting, so it doesn't work.
Can I answer that one?
Okay, there you go.
I'm an equal opportunities wolf. I'll fuck them all. Except my daughter's.
There you go.
Except Yolanda.
You're talking...
Yolanda. No, I won't touch that.
You're talking about the roster.
The roster.
Oh, not the previous roster before this new generation. Oh.
No.
Oh, Laika always looks at me cross-eyed. I can't stand it. Laika, she's still trying to find herself in that body of hers. Mystic Pain. She's big. She's got muscles. I dig muscles. Ooh.
I bet she can bench press you. I bet she can lift you up.
She can bench press something, all right.
Well,
Yeah.
Moving on, since you brought it up already, Boss Man, what the fuck is going on between you and Minerva?
I have no idea. I don't even know how this freaking dilemma began. She started speaking and showing me attention, and something came over me. And I've asked my medical staff to check me out. They say everything's fine, but as soon as she begins talking and looking my way, I start stuttering like a fucking retard and dropping and pissing myself on the floor.
Yeah, I know. I've had to clean that up. It's not a pretty sight.
Thank you, Penny.
You're welcome, Bossman. Alright. Whatever happened to your son, Yeti? Why isn't he fucking up shit around here?
Well, Yeti was called back to the Himalayan mountains. His tribe was experiencing some trouble with another tribe of raccoons. And, you know, I call it a tribe because that's what the letter said. I believe it was just a group of raccoons that banded together to fight the Yetis, but I digress. The war wasn't going good the last time I heard. The Yetis had taken some losses, heavy losses. One-eyed Yeti lost the other eye, so now he's blind-eyed Yeti. Don't ask me how that name goes about. You know, that pansy, what was his fucking name? Pretty Boy. Yes, Pretty Boy Yeti. He's no longer pretty by any means. You know, so...
Leave a good-looking Yeti now.
Yeah, so, you know, heavy losses against the raccoon war.
That's a shame. Alright. So what do you, personally, really think about what the angry assholes have done? I mean, you've complained yourself about what pantyways so many of the people around here have turned out to be. Are you really that mad about it?
You know, when it comes to footing the bill for reconstruction, always upset. Money is a very hard thing to come by in the wasteland. But when it comes to what goes down in RWO, I gotta say I was grinning from ear to ear. Two men stepped up and they brought the fight, and they looked for the opportunity, they looked for their way in, and they found that way in by going straight at the heart, not of just the tag team champions in Team Violence, but at the Oblivion crew, you know. And to that extent, I've got to say I respect the men, because they took it upon themselves to get noticed when they weren't even being looked at.
Alright. I kind of suspected as much. What do you think about the gifts that they sent you? How did you like those?
Oh, God. You were there. Oh, wait a minute. No, you took the time to check him out right away. Fuck it. I'm talking to the wrong person here. When you have...
Inquiring minds wanted to know.
When you have a group like the Gold Dynasty send you 2 mysterious crates, you gotta open it, because 1, it's like, what the fuck is inside? And 2, you never would suspect them doing as they did. You got one guy strapped down to another guy's junk like he's giving him a fucking serious blowjob, you know? And in the other crate, you've got this guy inverted and looked like he's being held, but he's tied around the waist of the guy hanging upside down. You know, the straightforward, you know, 69er position. Oh, have mercy. I almost had a heart attack. Wow. And to do it to guys like the Bastard, Seth Hardwick, Big Zeke, and Randolph Wolfhammer. Wow. You know, I had to grant them the match that they requested. That will be going down sometime this week in a 8-man tag elimination. The Gold Dynasty in a non-title match against 4 of the biggest, maddest motherfuckers I have ever come across. And you gotta agree, they had a full right to be pissed off.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. That Big Zeke's one nasty looking fucker as well. But...
Yes. But, you know, what Gold Dynasty did, it was unorthodox, but it got the attention. You see, everybody just shut the fuck up. They didn't know what to do after it. So, they did something. So let's see who's going to actually step up and challenge Gold Dynasty at the show of shows.
Alright. Last question, boss man. Is Kid Caliban, before he fucked up his back, back was looking for that old bastard Griffith Davian. Do you know what the fuck that's about? What's he want with him? Is he just some kind of creepy fanboy or what?
Everything I have learned about Ken Caliban, he is not that creepy fanboy. He is a little bit creepy, though. As everybody knows, I sent invitations out across the wasteland inviting people to bring the strongest of their people and have them compete here in RWO. This man went out of his way to kill another man for his invitation. Now, I knew when he showed up at the door, he was not who he claimed to be. And since then, further investigation found out that he was the, I don't want to use the word slave, but the houseboy, I guess you could call him, of one Griffith Davian. And while being raised in this working environment with Griffith, he was also being trained by Griffith, and then has since traveled the wasteland learning different techniques in fighting style until he got to RWO, and now his goal is to get to Steel City, where rumors are that is where Griffith Davian is being held. So that is as much as I know. And right now he is on the road to recovery. He sustained a back injury. We have since discovered that it wasn't as bad as it was, so he'll be back by the show of shows. But I don't know if he will have a match at the show of shows or not at this moment.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time, boss man. It's always wonderful to sit down with you.
You know, it was a pleasure, Penny, and I didn't mind. My ass didn't get as hot as I thought it would. I hope that you step out of your comfort zone a little bit when we bring guests on, and you really put them to the coals.
Oh, don't worry, boss. I'm going to have plenty of fun when you find me a victim. I mean, somebody to interview.
Now, I could have discussed many things. I could have gone, the route of my career, and I could have discussed about as a manager, not raising, kind of, the likes of Sin as well as Mordecai. But I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to see what you had in store for me, and it was pretty good. I liked it.
Well, thank you, boss.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue because we had some pretty interesting matches going down as of late as well. Now, before Mordrin became the Scourge of the Wasteland title, like I said, we talked about earlier, he basically said that the entire roster was a bunch of softies, and basically directed a lot of his frustrations at his kin. His here's a shot for you there, Ulmar. His bloodline.
Yeah. Let's go on with his bloodline. Let's look at the men in this match. Alright, we've got Aiden Nightwalker, obviously bloodline.
Yes.
Phoenix Nightwalker,
bloodline.
Mordrin, not obviously the patriarch.
Yeah, bloodline now.
Well, who the fuck knows where that fucker comes from? Let's just take a stab in the dark at some pig farmer down in some God knows fucking where his father is.
There you go.
You got Paul Utaker, Mordrin, not bloodline, but Mordrin raised him.
Yeah, Godchild.
Yeah, Godchild. Okay, so the semi-bloodline.
Yep.
And then you've got this big fucking freak, Cages.
We have no fucking idea about that guy.
I fucking called that the swamp.
That's 4 shots right there.
Yeah, so out of that match, we're talking four bloodline.
Yep. Now, I'm the one that threw this match out there to them. I said, okay, you believe everyone's soft. It's time you prove yourself as well. You've been out in the wasteland for a long time. Yeah, sure, you've hardened the fuck up a little bit. But he had to face, like we said, his bloodline. And not a bad elimination chamber. It was a pretty good one. I have to agree. Now, Mordrin got lucky. He was the final participant released from the pod.
Well, that's probably a good thing for those arthritic bones of his,
Well, probably. Yeah, you heard me say enough in that match, man.
Yeah.
And I think this led up to that major injury in the Drago Doom match, because he did not walk away from this match unscathed. He had the boots put to him by every single member of Oblivion.
Well, not every single member.
Well, no.
The Emperor himself was the first man eliminated in this match.
Which...
None other might have been Aiden Nightwalker as well.
Yeah.
Choke the fuck out.
Yes. Which was very hard to swallow, seeing the Emperor be decimated in the way he was. You know, we view our rulers and emperors and our queens and empresses as larger than life and tougher than the rest. And to see the Emperor fall as quickly as he did, it was not a good sight. Aiden Nightwalker, the son of Mordred Nightwalker, he bitched out early as well. You know, and it just kept on trickling in like this until it came down to Paul Utaker and Mordred Nightwalker. And I had to say, Paul Utaker was looking close to taking that victory.
Paul Utaker got a good couple of eliminations in that match as well.
He did.
I believe. He didn't just get the final. He actually took a couple beforehand.
I believe it was 2 or 3 eliminations he made himself.
Indeed, and well, let's face it, it's not technically bloodline, but he's a godchild, and the godchild was the one that almost take Mordred to his limit.
He
wasn't
did.
even one of his own bloodline. It was an add-on to the bloodline as such.
You know, and from what I've seen from all of Oblivion, and I'm not just going to go by this match itself, but when you look at Oblivion as a whole, the standouts thus far have been Phoenix Nightwalker and Paul Utaker. Paul Utaker showed it in this match itself, you know? And that's what I want to see, and we're going to discuss more of Phoenix later on. But yes, Mordred Nightwalker would be the final man released from the pods in this match and would go on to finally make Paul Utaker, well, get Paul Utaker eliminated. But it wasn't a decisive victory like he was calling for. He had to work for it.
Oh, didn't he just?
Yeah.
He didn't get it given to him on a silver fucking platter, that's for sure.
And I said Scourge of the Wasteland title. I do apologize. I was talking about the now Iron Warrior title.
Sure you were, boss. That wasn't one of the Freudian slips or nothing.
No. It was that Penny's got her tit near my mouth and I am getting a little bit nervous speaking. I mean, yeah.
You told me to stand here, boss.
But
Did you have to do the peekaboo bra on?
She didn't even say surprise.
I thought we weren't saying surprise no more. Make up your fucking mind.
We aren't saying surprise anymore. You are.
There.
We get away with not saying surprise and bringing it on you. But you have to say surprise.
Oh my lord. Fine, whatever.
Well, we move on to the Alpha and Omega #1 contender. Now, I'm not going to get too in depth with this tournament because it would drag on for quite some time. Gonna go by some amusing things that happened in this tournament. 8 teams started us off: Descendants of Darkness, the Glorious Bastards, the Pack, Merrick and Vaco, 2 debuting superstars from Ulmar's Pack. Obviously, you can hear the contempt in Ulmar's voice. Viral Injection, Cyrus Sullivan and Oddball, a very odd pairing there, but it works. Havoc, which is Joshua Clark and his mentor, Mark Caliber, taking on Crucible. And then Gold Dynasty and the Neon Knights. Wow. Former Alpha and Omega champions, as well as, one of them being the ruler of the Wasteland.
Oh, bitch boys.
Yes. Well, in a very interesting way to start the tournament off, it was Descendants of Darkness versus the Glorious Bastards, which is the Bastard and Seth Hardwick. Now, not many remember this, but both these men debuted and won that Warrior Way title on their debut night. Seth Hardwick won it at the inception of this ongoing hardcore-like match challenge. So they joined forces to face Descendants of Darkness. Now, what I thought was funny in this, and everyone called for a quick rematch at the beginning, but the Bastards played it really smart. They wanted to conserve their energy. They had Aiden Nightwalker and Paul Utaker eliminated via a countout.
Smart move.
It was.
They realised all the rules were to the matches.
Now this would play.
Use it to their advantage.
This would play against them later on in the tournament, but we'll go on about that later on. But yes, a very interesting way. I like the way it was done. It showed that they are not above playing the game. You know, they're here to win, and they made everyone take notice, and they did that.
By any means necessary, and they did exactly that by taking out that cheap count-out victory, saving the bodies for later on in the tournament. No shame in it. You know, you've got to play all these matches throughout the same night. You want to keep yourself as fresh as possible.
Exactly.
A win is a win.
Now, our next match is where a bad taste is left in the mouth of my co-host here, UlmarWolf.
Oh, I think I'm being called away. I think I need to go.
Merrick and Vaco. Now, I don't know too much about these guys, but they arrived. You assured me that they were very hungry. And,
they were all right.
And they didn't perform badly. They didn't. I will give them credit. They brought the fight. They were here to make a name. But they didn't have the experience as Cyrus Sullivan and Oddball the Clown.
Well, I'm going to put it this way. They just didn't finish their fucking meal. They put it on the plate, they had it all fucking cut up and ready to go, but just didn't fucking eat the best thing.
Well, if you're understanding his analogy of everything, it would be very clear that American Vaco definitely fell at the feet of Viral Injection.
Yeah.
And then
that's not what I was going to say, but yeah.
They got raped in the ass by Viral Injection.
That's more like it. The STD of fucking Wasteland actually picked up the victory.
Yes.
Okay.
Our next match.
They got beaten for a bloody fall first, but.
Our next match was the team of Mark Caliber and Joshua Clark. Havoc would face the Crucible. Now, I had high hopes for the Crucible for this match because they always come out looking very strong. You know, in every tag match they've been in, they always come out looking strong, but they just can't carry the load. And I figured in this tournament style setting, this would be the prime time to step up and capture some gold, or at least an opportunity. Completely and utterly embarrassed by Havoc.
Yeah, see, I saw the Crucible having the advantage here, you know, two big fucking burly fuckers, the lineage that they've got, versus the old man fucking Mark Caliber.
Yep.
There's no sugarcoating it. He's getting on in age now.
Oh yeah. It's been 30 years since he won that fucking Legends of RWO title, you know?
Don't be about that either. That still leaves a fucking taste in my mouth as well.
Oh, I bet it does.
Fucking hand down my throat. Anyway.
But
you've got the Crucible here. You go with this lineage. Two highly impactful players as such in wrestling. But they just couldn't finish it off.
And you gotta believe that this is causing those dried up bones of Sin and Mordecai to rattle upon their crosses outside of Neon City and New Naples, you know? Like, they've got everything that's going for them. They got the size, they've got the physique, they've got the skills there, but it seems like they just can't put it together to bring home a win. Like, I believe they have been defeated at every turn.
I believe so. And, they lost at the hands of my boys, you know. Tapping out.
Exactly. Final match from round one was Gold Dynasty taking on the Neon City Knights. Fatu Garin and Drake. Now, it would be Arkin Wall as well as JD Bagwell to team up here for this match, and it was a strong competitive match. You know, I was wondering how long can these guys go, but Gold Dynasty snuck out that win again. You know.
Yeah, I see. There's a little bit of fucking something else there. That little cunt Drake Garin. I swear on my fucking, well, I would say mother's life, but I don't know where the cunt is. I swear that he tripped on purpose to miss that fucking pinfall.
It did. It really looked like that. You know, everyone's seen him dive to save his brother from pinfall, and it was a clear miss. It looked like he just didn't have the heart to save his brother. And now he's arguing in the locker room. He's arguing in the locker room constantly that everyone's got him wrong. But every time I see this guy, I'm wondering, okay, is that knife coming in my back yet? You know?
I totally agree with you. I see it there is a bit of jealousy. Apparently, he gave the title of ruler to his brother. But I'm wondering how much of it is he gave it to him, or Big Brother beat the shit out of him until he said, "It's yours."
Yeah, and Daddy Guerin seen who was the stronger of the two and the wiser of the two. You know, you gotta wonder.
There was a big tournament and everything. Fitzy beat the shit out of him.
Well, there you have it, then.
Yeah. Well, round 2 came to the Glorious Bastards against Viral Injection, a very hard-fought match. Bastards actually took this one right to the end and actually got a pinfall victory, which round 1 we seen them going for the cheap win.
Yeah, but this time they actually decided to put in a bit of fight.
It was nice to see.
How much of that because of Viral Injection actually put them into a fight instead of letting them be used in a way?
Oh, you know, at every turn, you know, Viral Injection seen Glorious Bastards in their first match and made sure it was not going to be going to the outside for very long. So, either way, though, it was the Glorious Bastards taking the win, and it was good to see because they are 2 former champions facing, well, the virus that,
The STD of the waste.
yeah, you know, and then Oddball the Clown. And these 2 big guys just seem like they are more cohesive than Viral Injection were.
I would have to say that one of the 2 men, Cyrus, looked like he was going to take this match for Viral Infection, but just couldn't get it done.
No, he couldn't, you know, and there was a really strong feeling that either he suffered a concussion or something because he looked very dazed at some points of this match. And, you know, it was sad because they did have the win right in their pocket on a few occasions, but they let it slip by. So Glorious Bastards moved on.
I think this next match is the match of the tournament.
Oh,
This
jeez.
is now coming up.
Match of the fucking tournament, indeed. These guys went toe-to-toe. I can't even remember the exact time limit they broke off at, but talk about bringing the fight and showing why some of these guys should be Alpha and Omega.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, as much as it hurts me, JD Bagwell put in a shift in this match. He did put in a shift, but...
And he keeps on showing us, you know, reasons why not to believe all the crap spread out about him. You know, I know your son likes to do it just to get in his head and mess around in there, and knows that he can trigger JD. You know, but it's good to see in matches like this where JD fucking shines. And
oh, it's definitely, but I have to say, even still, he was the one to take the fall.
Yes, he was. He was pinned, and Havoc would move into the finals.
Like father, like son.
Ow. Ow. That
well,
one,
you said a penny, not me this time.
that one hurt my left testicle, you know.
I'll kiss it better later.
Okay, we are in our finals. And lo and behold, it is Havoc, Joshua Clark, and Mark Caliber taking on the Glorious Bastards, the Bastard, and Seth Hardwick. The winner of this is going on to face Ulmar's Black Hand, featuring Jeff Haight and Giroff, the Alpha and Omega.
I haven't washed my hand. Let's just narrow it.
Well, you sure? I don't know. That looked very much like the palm of your hand that's pressed up against their chests, you know? But Havoc would pull the switch here, so to speak.
The bastard technique in such a way.
Yes. They actually looked a lot more devious in this tournament than I have ever seen Mark Caliber or Joshua Clark wrestle before. They were taking cheap shots. They were trying to go for cheap victories and rope assisted pinfalls. And then they came to the finals and they pulled the switch, and the bastards didn't even see it coming. They thought they would be the only ones to use this tactic, but Havoc getting the count-out victory to move on to the show of shows to face the Black Hand. Wow.
Oh, my boys are ready. They've seen what's gone down. They've watched this tournament, and trust me, they've been working in the pit. Well, Geralt's certainly been working in the pit after he fucking failed Jaden Bagwell. That bastard's been punished.
Oh, I bet you. You know, I've sat on the edge of the pit and watched you conduct your, well, I don't want to call them matches because it's more like a fight. And there's been times I felt like slipping down into the bowl there and trying my odds a few times. But then you go and
whenever you're ready, Pete, you're more than welcome to come on down.
You know these frail...
Don't you fucking do it. I need a job.
You know these frail bones of mine, you know?
Okay, we'll put you in with Leica and Riker. Yeah,
Oh!
We'll break you in. You might faint though. Shit. Didn't think about that.
It's a titty party then. I won't.
Yeah.
I won't faint. I'll probably stutter a few times.
Probably walk with a limp. But yeah, these two pulled the switcheroo. You know, they pulled the bastard technique, and throughout this tournament, there was one man that impressed me the most.
Who was that?
And that's going to be Joshua Clark.
I would definitely
say that man there was man of the tournament.
Yes, the guy keeps on showing us more and more each and every time we see him.
But yet again, this is another one I wish would open his fucking mouth. I don't know if he's mute or what. I know he's got the face mask on and all this. I don't know if there's something going on with that face.
Yeah, we've seen Mark Caliber in the past. You know, the guy showed some potential shooting good promo. I would love to see it of Joshua Clark. You know, Joshua Clark, he's the youth of this era. You know, he's got to step up. He's got to let everyone know, hey, don't forget about me. I just showed you what I can do. Don't just show us. We want to hear you.
Oh yeah, without doubt. I want to hear what this man's got to say. You know, he's taken this tag team tournament by storm. I know he's had his mentor there by his side, but even still, this man put on a fucking show.
Yeah, that he did.
I want to see him. I want to see him go forward, not only with his tag team division, but I want to see him open that fucking mouth and tell us that he wants these titles. I could see him going for the No Limit title quite easily.
As well as I have considered him for that as well, which we're going to move into right now because, well, fuck, I've got the list up. Actually, no, I don't.
That's the only thing you got up.
Well, you know, with Penny sitting so close to me. You know, when Penny's sitting this close, it's very hard to fucking stay down. Okay, so, before we get into the show of shows, I made an announcement yesterday as well as today and opened up the floor to every viewer here in RWO on who they would like to see face Fatu Garin at the show of shows for the Ruler of the Wasteland title. Now, some numbers have finally started coming in, or I should say votes. So I'm not gonna tell you how many votes. I'm gonna tell you who has been voted upon. So, yes, so first man up, Dak Mandu. Next one, Junior McCoy. Pogo the Clown, Oddball the Clown, Phoenix Nightwalker, Johnny Cho, Cyrus Sullivan, Kid Chaos, a kid that, matter of fact, we've only seen twice, and Richie Vaughn Jr. Those are, right now, the people that have been voted upon. And like I stated, you can only vote for people that are not on the card. They cannot be you, and they cannot also be a part of a faction you are involved in. So it makes it harder. You have to step outside of your box to vote on who you want to be facing Fatu Garin.
Now we know these names. These fuckers right here need to open their mouths and state a case to get more votes in my eyes, you know.
I agree.
The win, the prize, you know.
You've
heard your name mentioned, step the fuck up, you know. You're going to get more votes.
Well, we have
four.
I'm assuming that they're not too shit scared to say anything.
We have 4 of these men that are tied with equal votes. You know, and I'm going to name them out. I'm going to call them out because I want to hear them in the chat. I want to hear them in the locker room. It is Dagman Du, Junior McCoy, Phoenix Nightwalker, and Pogo the Clown. They all have the same amount of votes. So, step up your game in the locker room. Make sure that we see you.
See, and just because these men are equal on votes, you others that have been named, don't think that means you don't have to say nothing. Speak the fuck up. You might sway votes your way and get yourself up there.
And just because there are a couple that have a little bit more votes than you, does not mean you are out of contention yet, because there might be something going down, a little bit of a, well, in Ulmar's words, a surprise coming your way.
I'm sure it's not the same sort of surprise.
No, definitely not. No.
That's a shame. That's my favorite sort of surprise.
I'm not going to jump in their room and spin my fucking dick like a helicopter for them. Nah. So, at the end of December, we have got our big show called the Show of Shows. And these are the matches that will be going down. And I want to get your opinion on those matches, both of you, Penny as well as Ulmar, as I list them out. So, in no direct order, you know, this is just the list of what's going to happen. We have got Ragnar Warson facing Drake Guerin for the Emperor of the Wasteland title. You guys shoot on this.
Well, it's about time Ragnar stepped up and did something in my eyes, you know. He's been a mute. Now if he steps up...
He still hasn't stepped up. He got challenged. He got fucking sunned and he hasn't said shit.
He doesn't have to say shit. He's been told what he's doing now, you see. He's laid down the law. You're going up against Drake. Drake called you out and punked you out, in my eyes.
Yeah.
That kid Drake stepped up. Sure, he had a pair of bollocks on him for a change. He called him out, said, well, let's put it this way. You beat me down, you look like you just beat a weak little man, because look at the size difference. I beat you, you look like a weak man, because you've been beaten by a man that's under half your fucking size. We go out there, we put on a hell of a match, it makes the kingdoms both look fucking strong. Either way, it's a win-win or lose-lose fucking situation for these 2 men here. Well, I can't wait to see which way the bastard falls.
No. Now, my opinion, I believe this is where Drake Guerin shows the entire Wasteland who he really is. The man behind the facade, I think, steps forward.
Fuck.
I think so. I think so. I think he's going to pull something devious to take that title and the throne away from Ragnar Warson. Just me.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
You know, his conniving knows no bounds, but I think he can't hold it together, and he's going to show the world what he's all about at the Show of Shows. Next up, the Dogs of War Championship on the line. It's the Angry Assholes, Drago Doom and Mean Joey Green, taking on Violence, Mark Mayhem, and Connor Harris.
So, Penny, have you had it confirmed yet or not, whether the kid is Scuzz or not? Or is it just still on the rumour mill that he is Scuzz's son?
Are you accusing me of spreading rumors?
Never.
No, I'm just accusing you of being the woman in the know.
All I know is that he looks an awful lot like fucking Scuzz.
Now, are we talking about Connor Harris here or Mark Mayhem?
Yes.
Which one?
Yeah, well, like I said, they both do.
They both do. Okay.
I mean, Mark Mayhem looks a lot more like Scuzz because, you know, Connor's got more mama to him.
Now, Mark
Mayhem there's some stuff there, I'm just saying.
Mark Mayhem is the legitimate child of Scuzz, but yes, the rumor mill surrounds Connor Harris. And it doesn't help because Mama did hold Scuzz captive for a while in the Amazon Nation. So, who knows? You know?
When it comes to this match, I just don't see them having it in them enough to take those belts back from the Angry Arseholes.
I really don't.
I don't either.
Drago
way
Doom.
Drago Doom disposed of Mordred Nightwalker.
Wow.
I know he lost the match, but he sent a message that match. I don't see it happening.
I believe violence is in trouble. I think the Red Lounge was just the beginning, and this is going to be the end. And I'm going to depend on Penny to get us some of that dirty news about Connor Harris. Is he indeed Scuz's child?
I'm on it, boss.
Now,
While you're at it, Penny, can you get the news of who Ragnar's father is?
I might could do it.
also up next, Alpha and Omega Championship title on the line. Ulmar's going to be watching this one really fucking closely as Havoc, Mark Caliber and Joshua Clark take on the Black Hand, Jeff Haight, which is your son-in-law.
Indeed.
And your biological son, Giroff.
Again, very true. You know, Jeff Haight was brought into the pack through marriage. A bloody wedding that was, indeed.
And now this was basically to unite two bloodlines, two strong bloodlines, I might add.
Oh, boss man said bloodline. Everybody take a shot.
Sorry, I'm only drinking what the milkman delivered, so, you know, cheers to Mark, the milkman.
And cheers to those random, I don't even know what this is, but it's alcoholic, so it does the job.
Well, Mark told me if there's an Mark told me if there's an additive in there that I kind of, you know, feel as if it's a bit of a salty addition to the drink, not to worry about it. So I'm not worrying about it.
Wipe your mouth clean.
Yeah, but Havoc, we just talked about them. They won that Alpha and Omega #1 contendership tournament, disposed of the Gold Dynasty as well as the Glorious Bastard. They'll be taking on the Black Hand, and you gotta believe the Black Hand wants to prove themselves here because they did win those titles in a match that was kind of, well, the odds were stacked up against the Neon City Knights.
Yeah, but the Neon City Knights were pretty fucked in that match either way, weren't they?
Oh, they got outed the first. So, you know what? It made me proud to see Sin and Mordecai's sons last a little bit longer. I believe and I predict it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be under the elimination rules, and you know the Black Hand is going to play every fucking dirty trick in the game.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I know you don't. But it's welcomed. It's encouraged.
Well, in that case, yeah. There's not going to be any niceties about it.
My prediction: the Black Hand retains.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that.
You know me, I got a soft spot for Giroff. I don't like that Jeff fella, though. He's got strange eyes and he never talks to me.
Why doesn't that guy work out?
What?
It looks like the guy that lives next to the fucking RWO headquarters. It's always sunbathing and his fucking beer gut hanging out with his hands down his fucking pants for the world to see, and some fucking crazy tassels strung onto his fucking nipples, you know?
That's you, Pete. That guy's you, the crazy guy that sunbathes and...
Penny, you should have told me those pictures was of me.
I figured you knew.
I'd never look in the mirror, god damn it.
He doesn't look in mirrors, you know this by now. He has all the mirrors turned around. He doesn't want to catch himself. He gets distracted easily.
I thought it got you at a good angle, boss.
Up next, it is the Queen of the Amazons title match, and the throne is on the line once again. Kat Leah Orchid, the only woman that actually stepped up and out of her box to challenge the Queen of the Amazons.
Isn't she training with your girls?
Kat Leah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I could have sworn I saw her hanging out with Rika and Rika.
You're talking about Alma.
She is.
Yes.
She's been coming along with Rika and Lyca. She's been playing in the pit.
She's been playing with the dogs, huh?
Oh, yes. Yes, and... I
bet you had her petting your puppy a couple of times. Woo!
I will not confirm or deny, but she may have stroked the wolf.
Well, I will finish this before we go too much further in your play time. She'll be taking on Mystic Pain, who is your Queen of the Amazons. And if you remember from back at the Soul Sacrifice pay-per-view, Mystic Pain annihilated the Queen of the Amazons to capture that throne. And
so that protein was from JD before the match.
And
oh shit!
Ow! And once crowned the Queen of the Amazons, she made the stipulation a matter of fact. If you want a challenge for my throne, you have to prove yourself in the same stipulation that I had to undergo to win this title as well as crown. And so Cat Leia Orchid will have to fight for 30 minutes in an Iron Woman match.
It's a hell of a stipulation, and I can understand why she's made it at the end of the day. Because, come on, you've won that match convincingly. Putting Angelita Utaker on the shelf for now.
Yes.
That was a nasty match.
That was a nasty match. She threw her around, she beat her like she fucking stole something at the end of the day.
Jeez, it looked like she fucking stole her husband or something on her, you know? Damn.
Hell. So, yeah, I can understand it, but I can see... I've seen Catalea go up against my own daughters. I can honestly say I see potential in Catalea.
Do you think she's ready to face the likes of Mystic Pain, though?
I think she has something Mystic Pain didn't fight against Angelita.
And what's that?
Well, I think she has a bit more speed to her and a bit more ring awareness than Angelita had. Angelita seemed to just give it up a bit too easy at times. Got caught a bit easy. It was caught showing off at times. True.
You do speak true there. Now, I think as long as Cat Leia can use her speed to her advantage, it's all well and good, and she's got a good chance of going on to win. But if you look at what Mystic Pain did against Angelita Utaker to win that title, once she's got her hands on you, she is destructive beyond belief.
It's going to be a case of stick and move, and move. Hit that bitch and get on moving. Don't let her get hands on you because you're going to get fucking trounced if she does.
I've got to go at this moment with Mystic Pain because she really stated her reason in her first 30-minute Iron Woman match why she should be queen. And it's kind of making me a little bit hard-pressed to pick Cat Leia here, you know?
I just thought it was making you a kind of bit hard, but anyway.
Well, you know, she is one of my favorites.
That doesn't have nothing to do with your previous arrangement with her mom, does it?
Oh, no. I always have a whipping session penciled in on every schedule I make. There's always time for a good spanking.
Well, I mean, fair enough, but...
Up next, Empress of the Wasteland title on the line, but in a match never done before. And this is what I like about the Amazon Nation. They're always taking it to the next level. Deadly Nightshades, Emily Ray and Erin Lynn would win the Empress of the Wasteland title at Soul Sacrifice in a handicap match, also injuring former Empress in Turquoise Ring. Amethyst Ring. Amethyst.
Whichever one of them.
They're fucking twins, man. You know, and Deadly Nightshades make it even fucking harder to tell who the hell they are. But it's the Blood Moon sisters, Rika and Laika. Oh, and by the way, Penny likes it when I growl like that. Facing the Deadly Nightshades.
Tell nobody. That's supposed to be our secret.
Somebody get him up. Penny's made a mess.
I'm old. I let all secrets out. Emily Ray and Erin Lynn, the Empresses of the Wasteland. No, it is not a tag belt. They rule as one because they don't have their own separate minds.
Well, I mean, if they had a couple of brain cells to rub between them, they probably would be doing better. But,
Now, Emily Ray and Erin Lynn, they love to antagonize in the locker room. They love to spew some pretty vile shit about their opponents as well as anyone else that they fall upon in the way.
Handed to him by Andromeda and Rebel, so I can see my girls coming through this one.
You know, I've got to say, I like the odds of Rika and Laika. When they have, since they have united, they have looked stronger than ever. And now that Laika is starting to get in better shape, her physique is starting to fill out a little bit more. Her breasts are starting to fill my eyeballs a whole lot better. I mean, her talent.
Don't you go putting a pop in them guts. I don't need none of that yet.
You're not ready to be a grandpappy?
The Blood Moon sisters are looking good for this match.
That's my call, and that's not being biased. I just see that they got their asses handed to them already by Andromeda and Rebel. How much is that going to still be sticking with them?
Well, let's see how much you have been able to do to get them up to where they need to be.
My money is on the Wolves as long as they can cooperate. Because, I mean, honestly, the last time they went up against the Twins, they could have had that match if it wasn't for the fact that they weren't communicating.
Well, buffoons came to mind while I was watching them wrestle together for the first time.
Yeah, let's put it this way. They were supposed to work together, but they were coming up to a match where they were supposed to tear each other apart.
Yes, indeed. A forced union before the big fight, and then they found common ground afterwards, which was good to see.
Well, yeah, Riker had to spot about pride a little bit there and admit that she made a quick judgment.
Oh. Well, like I've stated, Blood Moon Sisters, Penny stated that as well, and I believe Ulmar is confident in his daughters, in the Rika and Laika. So Deadly Nightshades have the odds against them from our aspect and point of views. Let's see if they can prove us wrong. Now, matches to be determined. This means that there have been no official opponents made just yet.
This one match has been determined.
Oh, sorry. William Cho versus Max Radness for the No Limit title. William Cho made his debut in a ladder match with a briefcase hanging above the ring, and there was a contract in there if he were to win, or if his opponent should win, that they would get a shot and a crack at the No Limit champion Max Radness. William Cho won that contract on his debut against Richie Vaughn, and now he's at the show of shows. He's got his big opportunity here to take the title away from Radness.
Yeah, I see Radness being beat, actually. Sorry, I was about to say retaining, but I see William Cho coming through this.
You know, I seen William Cho in his debut match, and I'm hoping he can bring us that kind of fight at the show of shows against Max Radness. But I gotta be honest, I'm a big fan of Max Radness here. The kid is, you know, he's that underdog that keeps on climbing up that ladder, getting knocked back down, but finally he has reached his goal. He grabbed the brass ring in the No Limit title. I don't see him going down just yet.
William Cho had the same in his last to get the title shot.
Yeah.
See, he got knocked off that ladder, got back up there and took out the man to get the briefcase there.
I just don't think that he's got those superhuman qualities as his parents did.
Wow. So, Penny, you're the casting vote. It's one apiece at the moment, so where are you going?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about William Cho. I'd like to learn more, don't get me wrong. Max Radness, the boy certainly has stamina, I'll say that for him.
Keep your bedroom activities out of this topic.
It's not you he's climbing on, it's a ladder.
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to have to go with Max Radness here just because I've seen what he can do.
Oh, have mercy. Have mercy.
William Cho might prove me wrong. If he does, and we'll talk later.
So, these are all matches to be determined for the show of shows. It is the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse Championship in an 8-man tag elimination. Now, not one damn team besides the Wolf Pack here has stepped up, really. We've seen Paul Utaker spew in his mouth a little bit, but Ragnar Warson is in action that night, so far Oblivion's been excluded from challenging the Gold Dynasty. So we'll see. You know, this week we're gonna see a little bit of a revenge match for a non-title bout against the Gold Dynasty, and that's for the 4 men that were embarrassed, so to speak, by the Gold Dynasty. Ruler of the Wasteland Championship title match has yet to be determined. Who will face Fatu Garen for the Ruler of the Wasteland title and throne? Well, that's being determined. That we will find out on Friday. And then the Scourge of the Wasteland title is also on the line. We are not even going to advertise who will be champion at this moment, because until we get there, we will not know. Same with the Iron Warrior Championship. That title, those 2 titles will be contested over and over and over again until we get to the show of shows. So there's no sense trying to figure out who it will be. So that is the conclusion of everything that's been going down. Now, we were going to discuss locker room antics and shit. Anything that has stood out besides the Angry Bastards, the Gold Dynasty, from what you guys have seen, because maybe my mind has lost grips and can't remember something.
See, the only thing I've noticed, we've had Amethyst, who's in the hospital at the moment, making a shout out to the twins.
Yep.
Yeah. These twins of Oblivion, whose mum's sole income,
Burnt the
major
fuck
contribution,
down.
burn the fuck down. Where the fuck are they? Back in New Naples. Spewing a little bit, and that's all we've heard. But that's the only thing we've heard out of Oblivion, really, is New Naples spewing a little bit.
You know, I figured at least Phoenix would be outraged that I would be so bold as to put anyone else in that Iron Warrior match besides him, as it was Mordrin who took that title away from him.
I would maybe see Aiden Nightwalker trying to step up, his own father being taken out the way he did.
Exactly, you know. So I'm waiting. I'm not gonna cast my final opinion upon Oblivion just yet. I have hopes, you know. I know Ken Caliban is working strong to get back, but I would like to see something from him, you know, a progress report.
What's going on with this, and you know, maybe give us an update on how his training's going, or how the operation's gone.
Right now, I don't know if he's undergone surgery. I don't know if he's already back in training. I don't know what is up with him. All I know is the injury wasn't as bad as they suspected, but surgery was still required. So until then, I'm not sure. Interesting fact, though, we had some very strange footage of Blaze McCoy wandering around the burnt remains of the Red Lounge.
Well, yeah, I heard about this, but I couldn't believe what I actually heard. Because the original sightings were this homeless-looking man walking around with his trolley, pushing it around, picking up through the rabble of the fucking Red Lounge, picking up some dirty knickers, which were soot covered. Well, and whatever floats your boat, you know.
And then we had later footage of him ripping off those rags and dressing up in very expensive high-end clothing that is not really seen here in the Wasteland.
No.
You know?
And they getting into a car of such a description, you know, blacked out.
What is going on with Blaze McCoy? Who is Blaze McCoy these days? Why do we care?
He's not the madman we think he is, clearly.
No. You know, and, you know, do we care enough, though? Because his time has passed. You know?
Well, to be honest, I don't really give a fuck.
You know,
he's not bothering me and mine.
I'm interested to see who he has turned into be, solely for the reason that he is the greatest ruler that the Wasteland has ever had. You know, a 3-time ruler of the Wasteland is unheard of here in RWO, and a lot of men have tried. What was that?
He's made the history annuals there alone. You know,
yes.
He's earned that title of being the greatest ruler we ever had. But that's so far. We yet to see what's to come.
Now, I've got to ask before we go off, because we've talked about a lot of things here, and there is a segment that we want to have on the show, and I've left this in Penny's lap, so to speak. And no, not my penis.
That's not your load you're leaving in that, not your penis.
But do you have any news concerning the Wasteland tonight? And I don't want to call them like rumors or gossip, you know.
No, I would never.
No. But do you have news of what's going on in the Wasteland and RWO locker room?
Well, I mean, I've hinted at it a couple of times. There's some weird stuff going on between JD and Mystic. Might be biblical, but it ain't Christian.
Ooh.
Oh, have mercy. Sorry, Pete. Wow.
I had words with a certain blue-haired gentleman, for lack of a better term, backstage. And,
I believe his name is Demon.
Who the fuck in this day and age goes into a Christian church and gets themselves named Demon?
I don't know. I ain't his pappy.
What's a Christian?
I don't know. I hear a lot about it back home. They talk about it.
It's this make-believe congregation of believing in higher powers. We're living in the Wasteland, folks. Give it up.
There's something to do with crucifixions. I don't know if it's Saint or Mordecai or what. But anyway, this demon fella, he got a mouth on him. And I didn't appreciate what he was insinuating at me.
And what did he insinuate?
Well, what he insinuated was that you only hired me because I'm good in bed. And while that is very true, that is not the only reason you hired me. Now, is it?
You're kind of putting me on the spot here, Penny.
So moving on, any other gossip?
I don't gossip.
I mean facts.
Yes, facts, because, you know, we don't want to go there.
We're going to talk about this later, boss.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're not going to spike my drink again with that fucking pill.
I only give you your pill when you need it.
When my booze starts tasting weird, I know you spiked it, but I can't help myself. It tastes so fucking good.
I do what I do out of love and concern for you, Pete.
I appreciate that.
The only other thing is that I find it very strange that after all that has been said and done, the Red Lounge burning down, challenges thrown out, we have not heard hair nor hide of Ragnar Warson. So I went and I tried to find him.
And what did you find?
I found...
Oh, Mark, control yourself.
At least that would have given me something to play with. No. I found exactly jack and shit. Nobody knows where he is.
So, what you're saying is the Emperor of the Wasteland is in hiding.
Yeah, I don't know if he's hiding, if he went to the bathroom and got lost, if somebody locked him in a fucking closet, I don't know. All I know is that nobody's seen him. Those little bitchy sisters of his won't tell me nothing. So, I'm going to keep investigating. You know me, I don't rest until I'm satisfied.
Oh, I don't rest until I'm satisfied either.
I only rest after I'm satisfied.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I stated at the top of the show, in following episodes we'll have a little segment from the ramblings of a madman, and hopefully we get your 1,000 do's and don'ts in relationships featuring judgment, as well as we're going to have Penny out in the field gathering up some knowledge, some facts, because you know how it works in the Wasteland. You ask too many questions, you get fucking shot. But nonetheless, she will deliver some excruciatingly painful truths to the Wasteland. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Renegade TV. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. I want to thank UlmarWolf, my co-host, as well as the lovely Penny Knight. Always a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine.
The pleasure will be mine in a little while.
Oh, You know, if we have to tag team her, I will, you know.
What's the point? Who gets tails?
Shit, we gotta flip coins. Damn.
We could pick Penny and see which way you get your land.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Always have a better tomorrow, because you know we will. I'm Pete Wall. This is one of the two.
Oh, shit. That was my cue. Penny Night.
And
UlmarWolf.
there we go, folks. This is Renegade TV, leaving you with a little parting wisdom. If it smells funny, don't put your dick in it. We're out of here.